Come on in. Crystal's here, let's begin. No time for that fake stuff. Diamond in the rough. We dive in. Nose wide. Real talk, hit it hard. Opinions more than real. Crime talk, that's the deal. Crystal's crime conversations. Real talk, no hesitations. Crystal's crime conversations. Fun around raw. All sensations. Come on in. Fun and raw, all sensations. Let's go.
Okay. Can you hear me now? I'm going to have to go outside and grab my laptop, bring it in, shut it off, and take my other fucking face off of here. Oh, can you hear me now? I guess I had to come in. No live from the fucking porch. Pisses me off. All right, I'll be right back. That freaking sucks. All right. Oh my God. No, I'm big face. I gotta set everything up again. Let me shut that camera off. I apologize. I was gonna go over the sweetie pie low with Dudley. I wanted to do it outside because my husband's in here sleeping. And I thought I'd give you a look at my porch, but that's not going to happen. I'm going to have my husband fix the laptop. All right, give me 1 minute here. Reset up here. All right, we're getting there. I apologize, guys. I thought I was being slick and could sit outside and talk to you guys, but I guess that's not going to freaking happen, right? All right, present. Oh my God, why is that so big? There we go. All right, so I guess what I'll do is I started early today because hubby's sleeping. I slept good last night. I'm up, dressed, drank about a pot of coffee. I was really hoping to sit outside with you guys and show you my neighborhood, but I guess that ain't gonna freaking happen. But okay, let's get into what we're gonna do now is just listen to Sweetie Pie Lowe's interview with Dudley to continue from the other day because I didn't have this up. I forgot this was even done. And I don't even remember listening to it really. So I guess we'll give it a listen. Let me take my face off of here.
For Dudley, John, I'm not sure if that's how I say his last name, honestly, but it's something like that. He has been accused a lot lately. By the way, who is Dudley, right? Dudley is the former co-worker of Donald Wells. He is the one who worked with him for about 2 weeks before Summer went missing. So Dudley is very, very sick of being drugged through the...
And how rude of me. I didn't even say hello to anybody. Hi, Diana. Hi, Victoria. Hi, Black Cat Mom. Guess that's all that has chatted. Okay, now let's get back to this.
He's very sick of his name being drugged through the mud. And so he has been faced with there's just no decision but to fire back and tell his side of the story. So I wanted to do this with him in the most respectful way as possible, because he does not want any drama in his life. He doesn't want people contacting him. He doesn't want any more of this to affect his life more than it already has. His wife is also very tired of it because she's bullied online, people thinking that her husband has something to do with Summer's disappearance. And from my time speaking to them, just my opinion, and I could be wrong, but they seem like very decent people. And when I say decent, I mean they prefer a life that's normal, where they go to work, they pay their bills, they keep a clean house, they take care of their kids. That's the life that they choose for themselves. But it's ever since Donald Wells brought them into the mix of Summer's disappearance and trying to shift that blame and I guess pivot it onto Dudley, it's wrecked his life. For 3 months, he was out of work. For 3 months, he was down in the dumps, couldn't make ends meet. And to make matters worse, Donald Wells in the end ended up shorting him $1,500. So he's really, really tired of the attacks, but he's also really sick of the fact that his life can't just go back to normal. And it probably won't for quite a while. That's why.
Oh, for God's sakes. Now I'm down in the corner. Okay, here we go. All right. I want to commentate on this. First, F off. His life won't go back to normal. There is a missing child, Sweetie Pilo. I understand that this is old, but I ain't worried about Dudley's life. He has a whole life ahead of him. Summer, however, cannot be found, and nobody knows what she's going through. He was fired by Dawn. It gives him motive. Yeah, I didn't either much because I didn't really follow the psychic stuff. But it gives him motive. So you shouldn't be coming on here stating that his life was ruined because there's a little girl that we don't even know that has life right now. If anything, Dudley should want to help find Summer. That's my opinion.
I wanted to help them as a couple nip this right where we can without crowds and craziness and all that. I just want to put it out there as honestly as I understand it to be and tell their side of the story. So I'm going to be discussing that with you today. Don Wells and Dudley John, or A John, I don't know how to say the last name. They started working together about 2 weeks before Summer came up missing. The way
You don't have your facts right. It was 2 months before Summer came up missing, not 2 weeks.
Dudley described it to me is that Don started to noticeably sabotage him at the job site. And it would be things like how much mud to use. It would be like Don accusing him of stealing mud from him, to where he later finds in a shed that there's a bunch of old mud that's gone bad that Don was accusing him of taking, which didn't happen. It's things like that that really have left a bad taste in Dudley's mouth for Don. In addition to that, it's also the weird things that he would pick up about Don's drug use. Dudley insists that if he had to pass a drug test right now, he could. He says
And he has since then been arrested for methamphetamine, which goes to show that he was a drug user, could possibly still be one. Maybe before you interviewed him and came out here to defend his honor, you should have looked up his father, because they're not clean people. His father, according to newspaper and news reports, was a very big dealer. Okay? Lady? Just saying.
smokes weed, and he has smoked weed with Don before, but he's not done the other drugs. And maybe in his past he did. We didn't talk about that, but that's not his life right now. He's got kids. He has things to worry about. And
Yes,
he completely sees the flawed parenting and the dysfunctional lifestyle that Don and Candace have had. So for him, it's just, like I said, it's about telling it like it is, giving his side of the story. But from the get-go, he noticed these weird things. Another thing that you will hear in this recording is that Don tries to tell Dudley, I guess, about these dreams he had been having, where he I guess he goes on like a rampage and he beats his kids and he goes to prison forever. But in that same sentence, when he was telling me about that particular experience, it was odd because he then tossed out Rose Bly's name, and Rose is Candace's sister, who has been missing for like 11 years now. So you'll hear that part. It kind of confused me for a minute. I interpreted it for a moment like, wait. Hold on. Don is saying he's going to go to prison forever because of Rose, you know? And so I think I misinterpreted that. So when you hear that part, what do you think? You know, you guys let me know what you think, because the way
I do remember listening to this now. I do remember that part. And this is going to be interesting to listen back on today, years later. Yeah, we might have some conversation here.
I interpreted it at first was like, wait, what's going on here? So that's something to keep in mind. Another thing that you will see is that he noticed upon picking up his paycheck after the first week and going up to Candace's, and he took his wife up, I can't say going up to Candace, going up to their home when he first observed Candace and when his wife first observed Candace. He said that stuff was crazy around there, that Don didn't really care about the livelihood of his kids because of the dangerous. They were running around on, there's a name for it. I can't think of the name, but it was something, I think in the yard, or it was in the home. I can't remember. I think it was in the yard. And it was something that could potentially really hurt one of the kids. And he's just like, he doesn't give a rat's about his kids. It's really strange. And Dudley's wife was kind of freaked out by the wife, Candace. She felt like there was something seriously wrong with these people. And I think more than anything, it's probably the rampant drug use causes them to, not care for their home, not care for the kids. They said that the kids were just like running around like wild, animals, no clothes on and stuff. And then she even said, she goes, and I understand being in an isolated place like that maybe you're gonna run around like that, right? But still, with your daughters. In this case, the Summer's head was shaved and she had like almost no clothes on. In fact, when it came up later where they were reflecting back to having seen Summer together, the wife of Dudley, she said, I didn't even know that that was a girl. And so it goes to show that from the get-go, it feels like they gave out the wrong description for the child, because it might be like maybe be harder to find her. I don't know, and that they should have never released that picture of her they should have never released that picture of her where she's got her longer hair. I think it was the Christmas picture that they released, if I'm not mistaken. So it didn't line up for them either. Anyway, without further ado, I will go ahead and release some of this audio now. And as I hear stuff, we can stop and discuss it, or I'll discuss it since this is actually not live. You are seeing a recorded broadcast. I felt like it'd be easier. Again, I want to avert any sort of drama. That is not what they want. It's not what they need. There doesn't need to be some showdown with Donald Wells. It needs to be done in a respectful and a very dignified manner, in my opinion, because this is serious. We're talking about people's lives here. And yes, Don and Candace have a missing child, but
People's lives, there is no, man, do you see how people just came up believing people before listening to them? Now, I'm not saying, let me turn my camera on. I'm not saying Dudley had anything to do with Summer, okay? But it seemed to me like some creators were so excited about talking to people that were involved in this case that they just declared them innocent, right? Now, there's been no arrests. Dudley hasn't been arrested for Summer. He has been arrested for drugs. I don't think that it's fair for creators to come on here, bring people into a case, like people that are involved in the case, online, and just declare them innocent when Ellie has clearly stated everybody is still a suspect. That's just my thoughts on this so far. Okay. Oh, and I also want to talk about Prayer Garden in a little bit. I haven't heard the whole live. I had it playing when I went outside with the laptop. She's sick. She's sick. I'm just going to play Miss Tia's video because I agree with her. So when we're done with this, we'll listen to Miss Tia the cat's video about Prayer Garden. I think it's disgusting what Prayer Garden did yesterday. If you have proof that Fred had, I don't even want to say it, something in a box, that should be turned into Ellie, not to YouTube. Fucking psychopath.
Has their behavior shown that they are the grieving parents of a missing child? That's another question you have to ask yourself, because I know it's a polarizing topic to even say that Candace and Don could be guilty, but taking a microscopic view of their behavior, of the way that during a time where their daughter's missing, that they could even play games, that they could even do these pranks, that doesn't make sense to anybody. And of course, you look at these other missing cases of kids. The mother of Michael Vaughn, she doesn't have time to play games. She's worried about her son. So just an example, I'm not saying that the parents.
What do you mean he knew about it months ago? Yeah. What do you mean he knew about it months ago? That's odd.
Are guilty. It is my firm belief that stuff doesn't add up, but I think everybody feels that more or less. But it's not my job here to be the jury. I'm just showing one side of it. In a way, I'm representing the side of Dudley today, because I think it's unfair how he's been dragged through the mud. And how I first got in touch with Dudley was because Donna had been in touch with his wife for some time, and they had tried to set up some times to, interview. And 2 different times there was a scheduling conflict, so it didn't pan out. And from there, Donna kept encouraging me, and this is like a couple months ago, and she said, just give him a call. And there was chaos going on in my life at the time. I was like, I just got to wait, we'll give it time.
Donna seems to be making her rounds, doesn't she? With her Darren from Bewitched. Like, the shit's not a joke. The psychic shit's not a joke. Why was Dudley's wife in contact for months? This was January of 2022. 6 months after Summer went missing. Dudley ain't spoken till this. I don't like that.
And then the more I heard Dawn attack him, like, I don't know, almost a week ago, that's when I was like, whoa, this isn't okay. And so I asked for the number and I reached out. So let's go ahead. Let's get started.
They're legally robbing you. And it's happening every time you pay for car insurance. Here's
I just want to speak the truth. I know that Don's covering up that I know.
That you know, like about Summer, you're saying?
That I know of the facts. His story was elaborate, his story he lied on. He didn't have it today. He's right with Tom's. He then turned around and admitted that he wrote this shit on the wall of what a meth head does.
Oh, yeah, I heard that. Now that I think about it.
You go back to June, and he said I wrote all that shit, and I destroyed the house, and I did not.
Yeah.
We cleaned the house up, and he fired me.
Yeah.
So from then on, he destroyed the house, made it look bad, and then wrote all that shit on the walls and made it that I did it.
Oh,
So he'd already lied to himself, and he done broke that truth out. He done ratted himself out. I'm the trip. He just felt the truth.
Well, that's so unfair too. Did you keep in touch with them any after Summer went missing, or did he just badmouth you?
Yeah. When I got my check with my money from him, he come paid me. He shorted me money, of course. He was supposed to make like close to $1,800 that week, and I think I got $300.
What?
So, yeah. And in return, I'm asking him. My neighbor was outside videoing it because I didn't trust it. So I'm asking him how's Summer, and he looked at me like I should have never asked that question.
Oh.
You know, like I was the devil. You know what I mean? When really he's the devil.
Yeah.
They know what happened. And
Yeah.
I can't say what happened, but they're trying to throw me in a mix. I wasn't dead 2 weeks prior to this kid coming up missing.
So you hadn't even you hadn't really known him long enough. Is that what you tell me?
I knew him back in the day when we subbed against each other.
Yeah.
But I knew he was a big cokehead and a big crackhead. Mess with him.
Yes.
But we stole a bunch of stuff from Tucker, the guy that we worked for, and he works for now, and pawned all this shit.
So he says, I asked him how's Summer. Is that normal? Like, wouldn't you ask how's the family? How's Candace? How are the boys? How are the kids? Like, why are you specifically asking just how's Summer? That's odd.
And they ended up making pay it back if he wanted to come to work. Me personally, I don't know why he's still working there or how they still have him working there.
Right.
He has some good shit to keep him in that because I lost my job with him. That was the best job I had out here. So egged them for a couple of weeks before Don fired me to please let me go somewhere. I even asked him 3 or 4 times, hey, this guy's really giving me a hard time. Is it okay if I whip his ass?
Yeah.
I'm tired of hearing this shit. You know, he's bipolar, schizophrenic. I mean, the first.
And that's probably why they allowed him to fire you. This is not the first time we've heard Dudley say, well, I called Jesse, I called Richard, I told them, can I whoop his ass? Can I do this? Can I do that? So obviously Dudley was giving the boss a run for his money, complaining about Dawn, the person who hired him for work. That's just insanity to me. Now, I'm not saying that any of this means anything, but what I'm saying is that we have to go back and revisit this, knowing what we know about Dudley's family now, right? Like, things have changed in the past 3 years. Knowing that he was arrested for meth, knowing about all the shootouts with his dad, knowing that his dad has just been, or his brother, whoever the fuck it is, has just been arrested in Kentucky by U.S. Marshals, I just feel it's important to go back and listen to this stuff. Did I want to do Dudley today? Not really. I want to get back to some Benny stuff, but I figured we didn't see this one the other day, so I would just go over and do an early live, and then I'll come live again tonight and do something else, but I wanted to finish Dudley up. It's been a morning here, guys. I didn't come live last night. Let me explain to you why. My son was in Canada. He was catching a bus back. He had to stop in Detroit and then come to Pittsburgh, and we didn't know what time he was getting in today. He showed up here at 5:30 in the morning like Kramer, let the dog out, fell down the back steps, dropped his phone. It was a disaster. So I've been up, but he came in. He's fine. He went back to grandma's. It was the son that had the heart transplant. So it's been a morning and I'm wide awake, but that's why I wasn't live last night. I just wanted to let you know. I knew I had to get up early today to meet my son because he couldn't go home until after he came here. So, oh, and he brought me something. Fuck, I don't know what my husband did with them. These maple cookies. They are so good. Syrup from Canada is amazing. Just thought I'd tell you. Okay, that's it. Let's go listen.
First 2 days I was there, he told me I had to work. He had to work there till 9 o'clock because child care services come in his house and he couldn't be there. That made a big red flag come up to me. I mean, he had a microwave oven in the house. I mean, a little cooler. He was set up to stay there all night.
Oh
I was like, this is wild. What was this dude into? And that was the second day I was there. It freaked me out.
Okay, so we'll stop right there for a minute. So what he's saying in this clip is that the second day he was working, so the second day into his time working with Don, he had come to the job site and that there was, the Don was set up there with all the, I guess, should we call them luxuries, right? They're means to cook your food at this job site so that he could stay into the night because Don knew that child services was coming to his home there in Rogersville. So he was purposely staying away from the home, according to Dudley. So let's carry on.
And we know that that's not true now. Only because DHS came on the 14th to close the case. Dawn was there. They knew Dawn was there. They knew it was his house. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you come on really early and you're saying, oh, Dudley said, but we know that that's not true now, right? Listen, people go into construction, they carry their thermoses and their lunch boxes and their microwaves and the things they need for work to make work easy, especially if they're going to be working at that job site for days, right? Back then, that looked funky to me, but now looking back at it, I don't think it seemed funky at all. That's just my opinion. What do you guys think?
So he knew that child services was coming to his home, and he had his stuff set up.
First week I worked with him. Yeah. I don't know, like something ain't right. And Don made me look horrible. Okay. He told him I was stealing mud when he told me to put the mud in my storage unit. And when I went to his house, he had pallets of mud there that had been sitting out for 2 years in the winter, and it was no good. So when he said...
So how would Dudley know how long mud was sitting outside, if it was no good, if it been there for 2 years, if it was at his house, where it was at his house? That no longer makes sense to me either. If you haven't been hanging out with Dawn and you don't know him and you only knew him from work, how would you know how long that mud was sitting out there? Did he tell you that? I doubt it.
Yesterday about me complaining about mud, people putting stuff in my mud. No, it was him trying to use bad material that he stole from Tucker and was trying to put it in with the new mud, and it was creating mold in the houses. And I just didn't like it. It was not the way Tucker done. And Tucker dropped.
And that doesn't make sense neither. Why would he steal mud from Tucker and then bring the mud back to use it with new mud when Tucker's providing the damn mud. Just a lot of shit doesn't make sense. Hey, Holler Girl, good morning. How's school? It's Monday. You should be in school. Okay.
Oh, well, we were supposed to do 4 coats, and he was telling me to lie and say we only did 4 coats when we were only doing 2 coats. So when I went to Tucker, Tucker told me he was doing 1 house a month if he was lucky.
Yeah.
Well, when I went, he was doing averaging 2 to 4 houses a week.
Yeah.
Big time money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
And it wasn't because of him.
Already? That was short. Do you got to go back? Awesome. Wow, that went quick, huh? Oh, he admitted to dodging CPS? We'll have to listen to the share one again. Ah, I see. Just short break for the end of summer. That sucks. Okay, well, at least you get a vacation. I'm happy to see you. Ain't seen you around in a while. That's good. That means that you're doing your work. Get it? Because we need your legal expertise here.
Damn, I was putting 4 buckets of mud onto his 1 bucket. So what does that tell you?
Right.
You think you might have been farming and like my work looked better in the first coat than his. So he got his panties.
I'm sure he did.
And he started cutting up roads. He ruined my damn job. And I didn't have work for 3 months. I was devastated. I felt like a piece of shit.
Oh.
But there wasn't nothing I could do. I went to Tucker for 3 different times. And he totally pushed me off because they believed Don. Don's a damn compulsive liar. He's bipolar, schizophrenic.
Yeah.
This dude would tell me to do something and then chew me out for doing what he told me to do.
Yeah.
And then he was so lying to the company, not giving 4 coats. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And only doing 2. He would yell at me for doing touch-ups, for trying to make things look better, and he was telling them that I wasn't listening. But if they had known that he was only doing 2 coats, I didn't say nothing until he asked me. When he asked me, that's when I said, I said, Jesse, we never put 4 coats on anything. But I was lying. I don't know. So I ain't messing with Tucker no more. They can have his ass. All I did was upgrade. I got a better job every time I left there. So it just took, a while to get people that didn't know Don that was bashing me, trying to get me fired everywhere I went. But now I got somebody I worked for that knew me 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And he's the only one that.
So she come on and said he lost a job for 3 months and didn't have a job. But he just said, well, I had a new job as soon as I was done there.
That you're still the same guy. So these guys just can't handle that fast city life. And when you own your own business for 18 years, you don't work by the hour, you work by the job. So that's all I do.
Mm-hmm.
I go to work. Well, these guys need dope to make them work.
Right.
You know, I don't need dope to work, but they all want to call me a meth head and a junkie, and these are the ones that got junkie marks and needle marks on them and look like meth heads. Leave his son on a job at 11 years old. I said, Don, that's crazy.
Are you serious?
And he said,
Okay, in case you didn't hear that, right here, Dudley says that Don would smoke weed with his son, his 11-year-old son, on the job. So if that's any indication, the lack.
That, I believe, because we've heard it from others, that was going on. I was able to get pre-law. Yay! Well, that's good. That's better, ain't it? I'm so proud of you, Heather. I'm glad you went through with it. I'm glad you stayed away for a little bit so that you can get your studying in. And my son goes back to school on the 26th too, so that must be the day for college. Thank you. It has been a hell of a ride for me. At least it wasn't that long and you finished 1 semester already. That's amazing. Yay. Well, I'm proud of you, Heather. Yay. Okay.
Of concern he has for his kid's livelihood. Can't think of what's worse. Well, I guess there's a few things worse than that, but that's pretty bad. That's pretty low. We'll carry on.
Dude, I don't know you like that. Go ahead on. I don't mess around.
Oh my
But then I
gosh.
also mentioned that we smoked weed together. You know?
Oh
He
wow.
wants to call me a meth head, but he failed to mention that we smoked weed together.
Yeah.
He smoked with kids. I have nothing to lie about, but I didn't do no bad.
No.
I'm not what he says I am, and I'll take a drug test.
Right.
But I don't.
So right there, he doubles down on, I'm not what they say I am. I'll take a drug test. So here's Don saying constantly, this is a meth head. He's on this and this and this. And Dudley said, you got me all wrong. I'll take a drug test right now. It's not what I do.
But it is what he does. He was arrested for it, Sweetie Pilo. There's a nice mugshot and a write-up, and he was on the Sullivan County Most Wanted list for months prior to that. He did an interview with Cher while on the run. Again, you can't just claim people innocent because you've spoken to them.
So, interesting.
I've been cleared from UBI and TBI and all of them. He's the one that's trying to send to me. I
Yeah.
just don't want no problems with my family and my wife and my son out here. But if they have problems, I will go to jail.
I know.
And that's going to be this asshole wants to send people out here when he's really the one that knows what happened to his daughter.
Yeah.
His wife is crazy. She scared the shit out of me the first time I seen her. She ran out the house. It was Spanish.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you I hate fucking kids?
She said that?
Honestly, I swear if I'm lying, God strike me dead. I couldn't believe it. I had to get away from her. She is definitely a handful. Made her probably because she is a mess. Richard Tucker.
Yeah.
Richard loved me. Jesse didn't care for me.
Yeah.
But Jesse was a spoiled rotten kid that had a business handed over to him, and he wanted to bring a bunch of Mexicans in and get cheaper labor. His dad was like that. His dad wanted quality work, so
Right.
got to the quality side, and the rest of them stayed on how to. When Jesse took over, they started cutting corners, cutting prices, so everybody was trying to cut corners on labor. But it was when the dad was running the business.
Do you think it's possible that did Don ever talk about sex trafficking? A lot of people think that could have been what happened.
Easy shit to me, before this shit happened.
Yeah.
He's telling me about the bad dreams he was having and going to prison for a long time. And I was like, well, why are you having them dreams? And he tells me, well, he said, I went in the house and I beat the shit out of my kids and they wouldn't listen. And I was like, golly, Don, why would you do that?
Yeah.
I said, they just kids. You got to talk to them. You got to put them in a schedule and a routine.
Yeah.
They would scream, cuss them out, and horrible parents. Straight up, him and his wife is piece of shit parents.
Yes.
And that place is a shithole. I
Yes.
took my wife there twice. She said they'll never take me back there again. His wife.
I thought his wife only went there once to pick up a paycheck. Now he just said I took my wife there twice.
That's why she's ready to kill you. One time, because Don would drive 90 miles an hour everywhere we went, and my vehicle was running bad.
Yeah.
Okay, I needed TV joint and a damn drive shaft.
Yeah.
Well, I'd be damned. For 2 weeks, he was sending me on goose chases. He was driving so crazy. You got 100 yards from a stop sign. He's going to speed up, go around this old lady just to get to the stop sign.
Wow.
Who does that?
What was the purpose? What do you think the purpose of that was?
I don't know. To lose me, I guess.
Okay.
I thought he was going to lose me.
Did you know you can receive free cell phone service? That's right, thanks to the government's Affordable Connectivity.
You know, because he didn't want me to find the job. He
Okay.
had some really funky games with him. You know, he made me go to a job on a Sunday, okay, on a damn Sunday.
Yeah.
You don't work on Sundays.
Right.
This guy wants me to work on Sundays because of his religion he was in, okay?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
his son and made me go all the way to damn Churchill and Hard Lane. Well, not Hard Lane. What they call it?
The one we watched the other day, I forget which one. It was either on Cher or with Olivia and Blowhorn Betty and all them. Bullhorn. Sorry, I call her Blowhorn. But didn't they say that hold on, my other son just came in.
Place. Huh? Yes, Nor Run. Yeah, and I mean, look, woman, this took me forever to find this place. When I got out there,
I thought it was funny how he called me woman. Look, woman.
Sorry, I forget what I was saying because my son came in. He didn't bring the kids home. Where the hell is everybody? They must still be at Jake and Cass's. I forget what I was saying. Can someone remind me? Drywall men work. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Thank you. You already reminded me. So in the last one we listened to, he said Dawn didn't show up to work on Sunday. And he also said that Dawn never spoke about religion to him. So already we're seeing the inconsistencies from the very first interview, right? Because he definitely said Dawn never talked religion. Nobody knew he was into God. Well, here he just said, well, he couldn't work. He wanted me to work on Sundays because of his religion. So we just busted Dudley in one lie and then another one right after it. I can't believe I believed this guy back then. Now that I go back and listen, yeah, you're right, Holler. There's a ton of inconsistencies.
and damn did the work, never called me, and left my shit out there in the garage.
Oh.
And I was supposed to go there and help him. So then we were supposed to go to another job in Chucky after. Guess what? I spent the first 3 hours trying to figure out what the hell happened, where my tools was. I went to his house, and his wife's telling me, well, you need to catch him on FaceTime. I heard something sounded so fucked up.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell, dude? Did you forget I was supposed to meet you there? And he's like, well, you never showed up. I said, bullshit, I was there. I said, the damn job was done. Looked like you did the night before.
So right here, he's saying that Dawn would do things purposely to sabotage Dudley. So there would be an agreed upon location where they're supposed to meet, and Dawn would purposely route him the wrong way to a different location just so that Dawn could sneak in, do the work by himself, and then say that Dudley never showed up, which is really not nice.
That's the stupid shit he did to me, and it drove me nuts, man. I used to drive my wife crazy talking about that guy. He just blew my mind with the shit he did. Big time issues.
You know,
He's definitely.
it sounds, when you tell me these stories, it honestly sounds like he was intentionally trying to throw you off his trail. He was jealous of you. And
I was ruining his
reputation.
time.
Yeah.
Freedom that he had on his job, but he would get fucked up, you know?
Exactly.
And his wife,
Yeah.
why was he taking a month to do a job when me and him was doing 2 or 3 a week?
Now, I do feel I should remind everybody watching this that, of course, there's two sides to the story. So this is just Dudley's side. This is the side he told me. Based on the information he gave me is how I formed my opinion. Does it, remember, there's always three sides, right? There's the side of what one of the people, the other person, and then there's the truth. Based on the character, what do I want to call them? The character defects of, sorry to say, Dawn and Candace, I kind of get the feeling that Dudley is probably telling the truth here. Again, could he fool me?
He could fool you. He did fool you. Okay? He could fool you. He did fool you. He's not being honest with you in that call. Very many inconsistencies with other things he has said. Some of his shit just doesn't make sense. We now know the family passed. It's okay to interview people, but it's not okay to declare them innocent or say that they're telling the truth to make it look like the parents of the missing children are completely awful people. I'm not saying they're good people. I'm not saying they didn't do anything. However, you cannot just go declare somebody innocent when LE is stating everybody is still a suspect. Especially if the feds are coming to his house that very next day at night, searching for him.
Sure, anything's possible. I'm just telling you the impression I got was that he wants to live an honest life, and he was intentionally derailed by Dawn and basically sabotaged numerous times while working for him. He felt that it was because where Dudley had come from was a part of Louisiana, and he said that there you get paid by the job, you don't get paid by the hour. Now, what Don's used to is getting paid by the hour, so that he would drag out these jobs, right? So that he would be making every day a consistent amount of money. It's a reliable income. But in the end, you make more money by the job. And he said, Dudley told me that when he was working with Don, and he was, assisting him, that they were getting done, like, I think it was 2 or 3 or 3 or 4 houses in a week, which was unusual. So it was making the productivity of the other guys look bad, because now they're starting to pick up the pace on these jobs. So anyway, just to give you a little sidebar there.
Exactly.
That's what told me. It takes a long time. I said, but I think you need help. And I went in there and they started bragging on us. So like I said, I was putting 5 buckets on his one bucket. So what did I tell you?
Yeah, I think he did. He was trying to disparage your name because you were making him look bad because you work better than him.
But I think this is all he knows to do in his life is finish drywall. He knew I was multitasking. I could remodel all out. So it was really, he was threatened by that, and I get that a lot out here in Tennessee. I'm just used to working myself for 18 years. I never worked by the hour. We work by the job, contract. You know what I mean? And he doesn't realize that. And he's a subcontractor. That's how he's supposed to work. He gets paid when the job is done. He wasn't an hourly man. Either one of us were.
Yeah.
So, he's a piece of shit, man. He's something else. I've got face to face with him, but I doubt it'd be good.
I know.
You know, I think about when they screamed at me and yelled at me in front of the contractors and made me look like a piece of shit and I had to bite my tongue because I knew that if I did, Jesse's was fired.
Yeah.
You know what, though? I was his partner. I didn't do it to make him look, and I was doing it working.
I know.
He should have worked the same way I did. He was the one that was sitting on a damn toilet the day that he fired me, staring at his phone like he lost something in his
Did you guys catch that? Right there, he said that the day before Summer came up missing, which I guess would have been the last day that he worked for Tucker, drywalling, that Don was sitting on the toilet.
The ancient Egyptians understood that they could use sound to reduce their weight.
Dudley walked in and it looked, Don's staring at his phone and he's looking at his screen as if something terrible had just happened.
Yeah, DHS was there, Dobbs was there. There was all kinds of shit going on by his house. I could see why. He looked like something happened. But my question is, did Don have his pants down? Like, were you watching him shit or something? Like, who walks in the bathroom while somebody's sitting on a toilet? Just a quick question. And sorry for those that came in, Nikki, Glenn, while I was talking to my son. And I didn't realize my camera was on, so I apologize.
Like he looked, I don't know, desperate, sad, very concerned, worried. So he had, from his perception, from Dudley's perception, he had seen maybe something that made him concerned, right? Don wasn't acting right, in other words.
That's when I got fired. You know, and I was like, what the fuck's wrong with you? You look like you lost your best friend. You know what I mean? And I believe that's when something happened to Summer was when she was at that swimming hole, the shower.
Yeah.
She still looked like a blue baby in the damn backseat laying on the milk.
I know. People say they've tried that experiment now, having.
The thing is, Nikki, is I don't know that that's truth. You know what I mean? Like, we hear now, after seeing records and things like that, that his dad or his family member was a dealer. I have a feeling if Dawn owed money, it was for something else, not for work. Maybe it could have been for work. The whole fighting, it's either that or Dawn was trying to set Dudley up, which I don't see. Man, I don't know. This stuff's just all confusing, and you can tell now going back and listening, like Dudley seemed really, really honest back then. I definitely believed him 3 years ago, but after this week going back and re-listening and hearing the inconsistencies, seeing him and Dawn fight, it just seems like there was something more there to me, you know? Oh yeah, well maybe it was the day after. He definitely went to work rather quick after Summer had gone missing. Yeah, some of this just doesn't make sense to me. It bothers me that Dudley says, oh, the things that happened with Jesse and all of them happened and Richard Tucker happened the day before Summer went missing, not the day of. But then he goes on to say Dawn didn't show up for work on Sunday. Then he just told us Dawn didn't want him to work Saturdays because of his religion. However, Dudley stated the other day that he was working on a Saturday and his wife had come and taken pictures that day while Dawn wasn't there. So obviously this man was able to work without Dawn, right? Just a whole lot of shit doesn't make sense today.
Their kids later.
Or rather, it kind of makes sense, but it's not the same kind of sense, if you understand.
Your head on cold milk. And supposedly, I guess, cold milk, kids can still sleep through it. I've never tried it.
She loved to come by me, you know what I mean? But he would have them in the house on 2 stories walking on a walkboard. You know what I mean? That little girl could have got fallen off and got killed there.
I wonder if, and I should have clarified this, I wonder if walkboard means scaffolding and probably does, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's known as a different term there where he's from, in Louisiana.
I'm saying he didn't care. He was so careless with his kids.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're walking around smoking a joint with your son at 11 years old, what the fuck?
Oh, I know.
Excuse me. But goddamn.
I know.
Job site. Roaches in the window, so he can make me look bad like I did. But he never once mentioned that we smoked weed together. But he wants to call me a meth head. We ain't never done none of that together.
Yeah.
I know he did, because I can tell the way he leave for 20 minutes, come back, and he was zoom, zoom, zoom. He's a damn meth head, and he's a damn alcoholic. If he ain't got alcohol or meth, he smokes weed every day. He does anything he can get his hands on. I had to smoke weed to tolerate this motherfucker.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really did.
Yeah.
Where you live with him? I had to smoke it to tolerate being around this asshole, because he was such a dick.
Yeah.
So.
The other thing we heard him say the other day was he didn't think Jesse and Richard would appreciate that Dawn had drugs on the job, such as weed. But now he goes on to say, oh, but I was smoking it with him.
I know.
I mean, I would never vote for him again, and I would piss on him if he was on fire, to be honest.
That one always makes me laugh. I wouldn't piss on him if he was on fire. I'm sorry. That one makes me laugh, though.
I don't find it funny. I don't think you should be laughing. This family has a missing child. It's not funny. Dudley should want to help. He shouldn't be wanting to piss on Dawn. He should be out helping Dawn to prove his innocence. Maybe he should go hang a flyer.
Every time I run my wife there, she never wanted to go there again. The kids run out the damn house in underwear.
Oh, it sounds.
With a boy ring shaved their head. I said, what the fuck? It really just pisses me off that nobody knows the real side of Don Wells.
Well, I think I think people see it. It seems like he has this side of him that's very charming, and he's.
Dudley, everybody knows the real side of Don Wills. He's a racist. He's a fucking asshole. I agree. However, he is a father of a missing child. Okay? I think the thing is that you came out here faking that you were somebody that you're not. Your arrest tells us that. And it also tells us that Don Wills was right about you. Just as much as you're probably right about him. He was right about you. You're not innocent, in my opinion, as it stands at 11:11 a.m., good number, on 8/12/2024.
He can be real polite, and then he's got this evil side that's very mean and violent.
He's a hurtful, harmful person. He beats his kid. He beats his wife. He puts fear in him. He blamed it on alcohol, but the motherfucker's high. For smashing, for ruining my damn life. You ripped me off for $1,500.
Oh my God.
I don't have no license.
That amount has changed several times. Your life is not ruined. You ruined your own life with drugs and arrests and the shit you do. You could go on tomorrow. Dawn and Candace have lost all of their children. They can't find their daughter, who is missing. Your life is not ruined. If your life is ruined, you ruined it yourself. Lay off the pipe.
His worst nightmare. He will not come around me.
Oh.
If I thought for 1 second I knew the person that messed with my kid, the cops would have to get me out of it. I would be going after the body. I have 3 kids, and my wife has 2 kids, and I'll tell you now, if anybody messes with our kids, they're going to have hell to pay with me. I wouldn't hurt a kid. I love kids.
Same here.
And I think that any parent feels that way. And Dawn fired you. You're stating he had owed you money which gives you motive, right? Not saying that that's what you did. I personally don't think that you hurt Summer or did anything to Summer. But some of the things you're saying is disgusting, considering this man and their family is missing a child. You should want to help, apologize, not worry about the $800 to $1,500 that Dawn owes you. There is a missing child. You were so worried about fighting this man and still complaining about money. Is there a price on Summer's head? Fuck that money, Dudley.
Get it.
What do you guys hear when you hear him say that? Do you feel that what he's saying is genuine? Because I did.
I don't.
But, you know, we all are gonna form our own opinions. I'm just curious to know what you guys think as you hear this. Carry on.
I don't understand it, but that after about the sister-in-law,
Yes.
it really started making me think about the sick dreams this dude would tell me he was having a week to 2 weeks prior to this kid coming up missing.
With the sister-in-law? Say that again. Are you saying with his sister-in-law or stepsister, or?
Yeah, Candace's sister.
He was having dreams?
Huh?
He was having dreams about her?
No, he was having dreams about going to prison for doing something really bad.
To her?
If you've been waiting to apply for disability benefits, don't. Hi, I'm Sarah, and I'm a lawyer at Atticus.
Okay, crazy dude walking in the house, beating the shit out of his kids because they didn't clean the house. What's wrong with your fucking wife? You know, it was summer vacation.
Oh my God.
You know, they drove them kids. They treated those kids like a bunch.
Agreed, Glenn. It's not that I can't stand them. I don't like the racist shit. I understand Dawn being extremely upset at his daughter being missing, but that doesn't give you the right to go around and just scream the N-word anytime you're mad at somebody. That right there tells me what's really in Dawn's heart, right? However, they have not been arrested for Summer. The police still say that everybody is a suspect, so that leads me to believe that they have others in their sights that may be suspects, because they don't come straight out and say, hey, no, it's not the neighbor, it's not the people at the church, it's not the co-workers. Instead, they say everybody is still a suspect. So that tells me that they may have evidence. Hold on, I got a cough. That leads them in other directions other than Dawn and Candace. That's just the way I see it. The fact that there was an Amber Alert called out tells me that the police do believe that she may have been kidnapped. Like they said, they're looking at all of their options, but you wouldn't call out an Amber Alert unless you felt that. It would be an endangered child alert, right? And they switched it from endangered child to Amber Alert the next day. So they had to have had some evidence that was greater than somebody's voice saying, oh, they seen a worker that delivery this, that, and the other in the area in a red truck or whatever. The evidence had to be greater than that. We found out there were plenty of cameras in the area I seen something the other day. I just can't remember what it was. I'm going to have to go back through my history and look. But it was something about the car and the Amber Alert being called out. But if you remember, about a week or two ago, we re-listened to the TBI's report. That Amber Alert was called out prior to the red truck being put out. So there had to have been a reason for that. That's just my thoughts on it. What do you think?
Snow White or Cinderella, whatever it was. That's how they treated their kids. It was horrible. Piece of shit parents. I think about everything. It sounds legit. Like she's the one that shaved that little girl's hair.
I know.
You know?
Right, which is a lot.
Hair.
Right.
Maybe they did have fights. Maybe they were lazy and didn't want to clean them kids' heads.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt they had life kicks and damn deer kicks.
Do you?
Well on the stairs? When I said the little girl went down there, she could have fallen. That shit died.
I know a lot of.
She could have died. It wasn't low when they said the little boy said she had trouble swimming, and she said no, she didn't. I mean, it's like cover up for cover up, but you can't get the straight answer because they're all hiding something from each other. They all got to support each other.
I know. You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy too is that it's verified pretty much from some CPS documents. You know, from the DCS, the people who are going to take the kids, that Candace was having a relationship with Hunter.
He was.
Yeah.
He was.
That's something that always bothered me. I wish people wouldn't have said that. I wish people wouldn't have put that out there. I personally don't believe Candace was having a relationship with Hunter. I think Candace, in my opinion, is immature. I think she made friends with teenagers. I think she smoked with them. I think she provided them liquor. I think she provided them weed and probably got weed from them. As a matter of fact, that's probably why she stopped at his house that day. Just my opinion. I'm speculating. I just don't feel Candace and Hunter were sleeping together. I don't know if you guys still think that today, but the kid had a girlfriend. He was going to see her that evening. There's other kids. She has children that are close to his age that you hear they smoked weed with. They left a joint in the ashtray for the kid to pick up. They left it on the windowsill. They left it here. Dudley smoking weed with Dawn at work, which means he was smoking weed with the 11-year-old too, right? I mean, I'm just saying. I do not believe that Candace and Hunter ever had a sexual relationship. That's just my opinion.
There was no reason for that kid to be over there. The kid wasn't at all. But
Did you ever meet Grandma?
yeah. She didn't like Don.
Right.
He couldn't stand.
So now we're talking about grandma. I had asked, have you ever met Grandma Candace? And if so, what was your interpretation? What was your feeling on her?
Mm-hmm.
He might have been all right woman, but every time they would come to the job site, because they would always come to the job site, they'd be fighting like crazy. Don and his old lady. He'd have to tell her mother-in-law, shut the fuck up.
Oh,
I was like, he just don't know how to talk to women, though. He's one of
I believe that. That part I believe. We hear Dawn early on in many interviews talking about how he and Grandis really didn't get along. However, on the other hand, we also hear Dawn say, I don't think she would do anything to Summer. We're getting along better today. I feel like Grandma was Candace's mom. Like, that's her daughter. If you hear a man talking shitty to your child every day, you're going to have some kind of feelings, right? If one of my kids brought home somebody I did not like, I have a hard time keeping my mouth shut. Okay? I would tell my kids, like, fuck that dude, fuck that girl. You know what I mean? Yes. That's what I think, discovering.
Those people that think women don't have say-so.
Yes, a misogynist.
Huh?
He's a chauvinist, a misogynist type who doesn't think women have any say.
No, he don't. He's a piece of shit.
I'm still interested about this part where you said that he was having dreams about
So here I am. I'm trying to clarify. What did he mean? He dropped sister-in-law's name in the same pretty much sentence as Don was having dreams about going to prison for life. So here I was trying.
You probably should have asked Donna, since you're promoting her and getting her in touch with all these people to speak with. And Dudley's wife's talking to him. I mean, couldn't she just foresee the fucking future? Just saying.
Trying to clear that up. So I think I misinterpreted it, but again, I still don't altogether know. I wasn't there. I wasn't there to hear what Don was trying to convey to Dudley when he told him about these dreams he was having. All I know is that he said,
by the way, I'm very aggravated with this interview listening to it. However, Sweetie Pie Lo, you're beautiful. You look like Barbie. Just thought I'd tell you that. She is very pretty. I don't hate you, lady. I just wish you wouldn't pass it on as if this person was innocent and it was okay, and you declared that everything he said was okay because people went with that. They listened to it. Nobody looked in further to him, and it needed to be looked into. Clearly, with that arrest of his, right? For methamphetamine.
that he was dreaming, Don was dreaming that he was going to prison for life, that he had beaten up his kids, and the rest I'm just a little bit unclear about, but we'll listen to it right now.
his sister-in-law before Summer ever came up missing. That's the part that trips my trigger. I that's weird.
Yeah, I mean, he would have these crazy dreams he was telling me about going to prison for a long time.
She reminds me of like a white Vanessa Williams. She is very pretty, you know? I just don't understand her backing Donna Serafina so much. Like, and the fact of getting her in touch with people and like, can't you do your own thing? And I actually do enjoy some of her content, you know? I just don't like how she's clearing people so early on when there is actually bullshit in the conversation. And I can't really fault her for that because I felt the same way back then. But I feel like she today needs to come up and clarify, well, this man's been arrested. Maybe I was wrong. Let's look at it this way. Like, you have to be a real person when covering these cases. You can't just go out there and declare, well, okay, this one's okay. I'm not saying attack them either. I'm just saying, we have to be held to a higher standard. You know what I mean? As content creators. This is the kind of stuff that causes the confusion. Like, you're out here saying, okay, well, Dudley said so, it's truth. Well, that's not true. We have to listen to all of it. And Dudley has been on several interviews since then. He's stuck for a majority to his story for the most part. But there are parts in there that doesn't make sense and that changes. Just like everybody else in this case. There has to be a reason Dawn names the people he names. You know what I mean? The people with motive. Dudley would be one of them. Again, he hasn't been arrested for Summer. However, the police were obviously tailing him for something else and arrested him for that. So that tells me that the police were actually looking at him.
They're doing a bad thing. And I was like, well, what did you do?
Same with Ricky Crawford and a few others.
And it's like, I was beating the shit out of my kids. I hit them too hard. I mean, this was before Summer come up missing, so.
And the sister, Candace's sister, he would mention her in that same, like, where he's talking about it.
The amount of psychic shit that has gone into Summer's case bothers me. And I guess that comes with any case, and I just didn't know that coming into YouTube as a new creator. But when you got these psychics narrating, you know what I mean? Like, for instance, when Scott and Penny was having Linda do the drives for them, they were basing it off of what Sweetie Pie Lowe said, based off of what Donna Serafina said. Like that one spot, there was a pavilion, there was this, and then there's Penny and Linda and them taking pictures of the damn stop sign. We can't go back and look at that because they've deleted all that. But that's what was going on. Scott and Penny were also following this shit, creating a narrative.
And they probably killed her.
I think so too. Because how are two people?
Again, this is only my opinion. Don't let this influence you. Only my opinion. Doesn't mean I'm right. But
however, you kept it going and you let it influence and influence and influence over and over. And it's still going on.
that is how I feel. I felt that since almost day one, with the exception of there was a moment, I would say maybe a day or two, where I started to think, well, maybe they're innocent. Excuse me. There was just a brief moment of time where I really felt that. And then I kind of got real with the story. It doesn't add up. And then there were just certain things that happened that made me even more suspicious of the overall story. But again, we don't know what happened to Summer. We're just trying to put all the things, the facts that we can.
Like, they're still doing the same shit with Ryan and Jen, right? Like, they're still reaching out to people and having people go search their areas and this, that, and the other. I'm not saying anybody shouldn't go out and search. I'm just saying you can't, it goes into, it isn't just Donna. Like, you have Dusty, you have Juanita, you have Donna, you have so many psychics getting into this, confusing it. And then when our subs watch, people take what the psychics say is truth. It's a vision. You're stating this is vision. However, some people out there take that shit as fact. It gotta quit. In these cases, it confuses things. It causes confusion on the internet and with people that are out there searching. It's not right, in my opinion.
Can find out on the table and weigh the evidence, just in our opinion, in the court of people's opinion. Overall, though, this is up to law enforcement. We're not going to solve this. It's not our job. But we do.
I agree with her there. I agree 100% with her there. However, you keep pushing the narrative that the psychic shit is real for Donna. She could come out here and talk and tell us her visions. I welcome that. I agree with anybody. Go to some locals. If the locals hear it and they want to search that area, fine. But you're coming out here saying, oh, there's a man that looks like Darren from Bewitched, and he's for sure, and it's fact. And you got all these people out there like harassing people that look like Darren from Bewitched. That's not right.
Take part in discussing it online. And that's why I'm even taking the time to go over this right now, because we are searching for answers. Anyway, here we go.
People from the same family missing. That's bizarre.
Somebody knows nothing on his sister. I bet you any money if they did kill her, I bet you the baby is buried by the sister.
Oh, that's an interesting thought.
You never know.
Right. Yeah, you never know. I think those kids are so much better off without them.
They don't deserve them.
No, they don't. I can't believe that about the oldest boy smoking weed with his dad at 11.
And obviously, Dudley was there smoking it with him and his dad. Okay? Because he said, I smoked weed with Dawn on a job.
That's crazy.
Crazy. I can't believe that when
Yeah.
my husband had told me that. I said, are you kidding me? But yeah, I mean, it was every day. But, you know, I am interested.
And if that's the case, why didn't you call authorities? Maybe Summer going missing could have not been a thing. If you called authorities, if Dawn's smoking weed with his kid, while you're there doing it with him. That should have been a straight up call.
About your day, your work. I said, but I'm sorry, I can't listen about no more Dawn.
Yeah. I bet you got so tired of hearing about him, huh?
Because he would come home and he was just so stressed out. You know, he's like, Dawn tells me to do one thing, and he gets mad and yells at me because he forgets that he told me to do something else and blah, blah, this and that. I'm going there and he's going somewhere else and just trying to cut me out of my money.
Yes.
And he got me good in the last one.
Yes. He was making an excuse.
It was at their first job site where they poured cement, Glenn. But then he went on to say, in the ones we were listening to the other day, that he took the PIs there and they searched it. Yeah, I don't believe in it neither, Nana. However, like I do like astrology and things like that, like the scientific part of it. I find it entertaining. Am I going to say that I've never like went and had my fortune read or anything like that? No, but I find it entertainment. I don't find it real. You know what I mean? Like, it's not real. It's not truthful. And a lot of these psychics, they go out there and they push it in these cases that their visions are really what happened. Unfortunately, and I'm not saying my subs, but there are people out there that believe that shit. And it helps to fuel the fire, the speculation, the rumors, people get harassed over that shit. You know what I mean? Like, it just, like, I do like astrology. Don't get me wrong. I like the stars. I do like listening to tarot and things of that nature. But do I believe it's truth? No, not at all. Just my opinion on it. And they shouldn't be pushing it as truth either.
For taking money from you is what I think, not paying you the full amount.
Right before his daughter comes up missing and throws me in like as if I did it to get my money. I personally thought the way that went down.
For instance, I probably read my horoscope daily, but do I believe that because I read my horoscope that that's going to happen? No, I've never had a freaking horoscope be right yet.
I feel like that he just wanted my husband out of the way. Because I was covering
So the fun thing with the serpent is, how does a serpent talk? What, and not only that, but why is the serpent's punishment?
He couldn't do the shit he wanted to do that he was hiding. When he told me to take the money and put it in my building,
Yeah.
I was like, hey, all that shit back. I said, don't ever ask me to bring nothing again.
Yeah. It was an effort to frame you, I think. That's what that was.
Well, he was framing me to get me kicked out because that's all he has over there. If he didn't work for Tucker, he wouldn't have a job nowhere around here.
No.
He knew that he knew that one of our cars was messing up with the drive shaft and shit. He knew that, you know.
Yeah, that's why I was driving.
It off.
Because I didn't want to be broke down somewhere.
And then Dawn doesn't like that, you know, that his alibi, and that is the truth, you know.
Yeah.
He took the stuff out, had it repaired, and then he put it back with it, and he comes around and says that, well, that's what a meth head does, is just put around on your vehicle all day. He knew that the vehicle was, you know, messing up.
Oh, man.
You know, and we had two cars, but he was working and I worked too, and you know, our son had ball games, you know, during that time, and I would have to be a certain place when
Another thing I don't understand is Dudley says things like, I had to ride in with Dawn. We car shared to go to our job sites because Dawn drove too fast and I couldn't follow him. Well, we're in a year, back then it was 2021. There was GPS everywhere. Why do you need Dawn? You're coming all the way from Virginia daily. Why don't you just go to the job site? It doesn't make sense to me why he was ride sharing with Dawn. Two people that don't get along, they can't stand to be in the same room together while they're working together, yet he's parking his vehicle every day at Dawn's house and riding to work with Dawn when he already lives so far away, stating he can't find the work site without following Dawn, and Dawn drives too fast. Well, you know what? Garmin works really good.
Yeah.
he'd either come home or he would take our other car to work and stuff, and he knew that the car was messed up, but then he wants to play off that, well, that's his alibi, you know, that's what a meth head does, is a paint on your car, and
Yeah.
so, well, whatever his words, I can't quote his words word for word.
Yeah.
There's that last song called, you know, you're painting the undercut or whatever, this and that.
Undercoating my car.
Yeah, but you know, we like to have, you know, clean, nice things, you know.
Yes.
We don't live in a you know, we give out a clean home,
Right.
clean vehicle, you
Yeah.
know, and it's just that his lifestyle and our lifestyle was completely different, and I've been honest living, and
Yeah.
you know, I told you that he had his own business for 18 years, and he's used to working to get.
Oh, yeah, that's another point. They told me that when I think they lived back, if it was Louisiana, I think, that Dudley had his own business for 18 years. So he was used to doing his own thing. And the biggest, I think, conflict for him since moving to Tennessee is that he notices a difference in the work ethic. So just another thing that they talked about.
The job done and not riding the clock and working by the hour.
Yeah.
Work by the hour.
Just because you can outwork someone doesn't mean that you're on drugs.
Right.
My husband weighs what man said you know weighs 200 pounds.
Good point.
You know?
Right.
Well, I said I worked myself for 18 years. I got paid by the job, and he would lag and try to make it take more time, and he's I can't stand him.
I know. I feel so bad for what he's done to you guys. It's not fair. It's not right.
Not fair, you know, because, you know, I get, you know, well, people say, you know, I've seen this video, blah, 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 they're mentioning your husband, blah, 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 you know, and
Yeah.
I get tired, you know, and
Yeah. They're pulling you into it. You guys don't belong involved. Yeah. You don't belong involved. You guys sound like very, very good people. And Candace and Dawn are not good people at all. They're not your caliber.
Yeah, I went there one time at their home to pick up his money for the week.
Yeah.
And of course, I was either one of us got on a vehicle, and he was taking me up in that hall, and I was like, "Where are we going?" I was like, "This looks like a horror movie." And then I see her sitting on a bicycle, and she was completely sweaty and stuff, and her eyes looked so dark.
Oh.
And I'm like, "Please, let's just go." We went there no more than 10, 15 minutes max. I counted his money. I was like, "Please count it to verify it.
Yeah.
Let's go."
Yeah.
Get us out of here.
Yeah. You didn't feel comfortable, did you, Miss Linda?
Not at all. Not at all. I didn't roll my window up. I barely had it cracked, and then the kids came out. They were all their underwear dirty.
They're running off of a damn walkboard on his house because he couldn't put a pair of stairs.
Oh my God.
Running down a walkboard in their drawers. The girl didn't even have shirt.
The only time I ever seen any scaffolding or walkboards and pictures of the Wills house was when they were working on the house. Now, I have to agree, I didn't like that Summer was naked with a bunch of men and pictures around while fixing a house with no shoes on her feet and nails and wood and boards and splinters. Not exactly what I would do with my kids. Okay, however, I don't see no scaffolding on the Wells house around the time that Summer went missing. They live on a hill in the middle of the mountains. Nobody can see up onto their hill. Nobody can see down onto their hill. If the kids want to run outside in their underwear, you can't stop that. Like when I was a kid, 3 and 4 years old, my grandparents got pictures of me outside in my underwear, playing in the yard. I was riding a broom like a witch, picking flowers. You know what I'm saying? It's not abnormal for children to go outside in the heat without clothes on, especially where they live when it's secluded. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like they were in the middle of a mall. Like, here's my naked kids. They were on their own property where it's surrounded by trees and hills, and you can't even see up there. In my opinion, I've never been there, but if you didn't get out of the car and you didn't interact with these people, what was it that made you feel so freaking uncomfortable? Like you left there and just talk shit? Because for me, when you say things like that, it makes me feel like you felt some sort of way, and that could make you more of a suspect. If you understand what I'm saying. Like you didn't like the way the kids were being raised, but you didn't get out of the car or spend any real quality time with the family or the kids. It's just an odd statement for somebody who quickly went up on the hill to pick up some money or pick up a paycheck or something like that. It isn't like you were up there spending time with them to get to know them. So that's I don't like that statement from his wife. That's just my opinion. That's my thoughts on it. Listening to it 3 years later, I find that a bit odd for somebody who doesn't really know the family.
Yeah,
With a bald head.
and Ray pointed that out to me, which I hope, my husband goes by Ray. I don't even call him Dudley, but
Oh,
so
okay.
I call him Ray.
Okay.
So Ray was like, he pointed.
Listen, Nikki, when I was a kid, like I've told you all, my mom was an alcoholic. She didn't give a fuck. I was out from sun up till sundown. Sun up to sundown. We were riding dirt bikes. We were riding BMX bikes. I mean, I'm talking when I was like 6 years old, we'd go up to the Glassport dump on the dirt bikes. My mom never knew where the hell I was. And every day I come home with a black eye or a bruise on my knee. I remember one time I was riding, because where I live, it's all hills. I was riding my bike down 5th Street and I flipped over the handlebars. Boy, I got fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, kids get marks. They get bruises. They get dirty. I played in creeks. I played in mud. I lived in the city or in a small town. It's the same for all kids. And I guarantee you, every single one of you have a picture that your parents took where you were naked or in your underwear. I have pictures of me where I'm holding bottles of booze at 5 months old, sitting on a big Budweiser beanbag chair. My parents thought that shit was hysterical. Yeah, it ain't the same like that no more. Kids sit in here, they sit on their electronics. I was never home. Never. Sun up to sundown. The minute the sun hit the sky, I was outside.
Him out. Well, his middle name's Raymond, so we go by Ray.
Okay.
So, he pointed Summer out to me. He's like, "That was a little girl." I said, "You are kidding me."
Yes.
You know, and like, with her underwear, she was a little boy. And whenever we first met up with Washington County, we both said, "You need to go back and change that picture of that little girl in that red shirt. That's not what she looks like."
Exactly.
The little girl I saw looks like a boy.
Yes.
She has a fun haircut. So they lied from the beginning of what she looks like.
Yes.
I mean, like, why would you not what she's going to look like up there if you're going to try to hide something?
Exactly. Exactly.
I mean, I know they got that little country living and they're going to play out dirty, but you know, still, yeah, she's a little girl, at least put a shirt on her.
Oh, I know.
You know?
All right. They didn't even have sheets on the bed for the children. I just can't imagine not taking care of my children properly.
All right. I do have an issue with that. The mattresses were gross. There weren't no sheets on them. I'm one of them weird people. I have to have clean sheets on my bed. My sheets in my home get cleaned at least once a week. It's just a thing for me. Another thing I do is I won't lay in my bed with day clothes on because it's gross. Your clothes are all, but that's just me. However, I have friends that have children that have lived and slept on mattresses and shit with no sheets on it. And it doesn't mean that their children are abused. I do agree with the cleanliness of Dawn and Candace. That's something I've always said. However, some people just ain't raised right. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, the friend I'm talking about right now, I'm thinking of, that has the kids that sleep on the mattress without the sheets. That bothers me. It really bothers me. Her mother was also a hoarder. You know what I mean? Like, you walk into her mom's house and it was pretty freaking bad. So I guess it all depends on how you're raised and how you grow up. Some people don't care about that shit. Some people do. It doesn't mean you judge them based off of shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a country girl and always out riding around in the country. I love the country. I've lived in the country before. It's been a while. I lived up in Tynesta here in Pennsylvania. It's up by Lake Erie. Very small town. I think the whole freaking county has like maybe 200 people in it. Yeah, people in the country do things differently than people in the city. I just don't feel that these are things people should have brought out and judged. Now, Dawn and Candace drinking online, yeah. However, they were missing a daughter. I wouldn't do that. If my child was missing, I would be out every day searching. I wouldn't be drinking. At least I don't think I would. But we don't know how we would act if our children went missing. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know what that's like. My sister is a hoarder, doesn't clean. I'm organized, keep a clean house. So it's not just the raising. Yeah, I guess. I guess it can depend on anybody, you know? My mom was an asshole, but she made sure our house was clean. Like, we got beat if our shit wasn't clean. So, and I'm dirtier now than I was when I was a kid. However, the one thing I do is make sure I have clean sheets on. I just can't sleep without a clean sheet on my bed. Or I can't sleep in my day clothes in the bed. I have to have I just don't. That's just me. Maybe I'm a whole ass weirdo. I don't know.
I've got kids of my own. I can't imagine this.
Three, two.
Oh, I can imagine living like that.
No.
I mean, making good money, there is no reason for it. You know?
Yeah.
There's no reason why they're comfortable.
Oh, and also, I feel like their story corroborates a little bit of what Jody Sue has said before and how much money she figured Dawn was making. I think I've heard Jody Sue say something like $1,500 or $2,000 a week. That's what kind of money they're used to actually earning. So for me,
And that's their prerogative. Where does that play into? Dawn works hard. I do got to give Dawn that. I think Dawn's a very hard worker. I think he goes to work. I think he puts pride in his work. I find it hysterical when him and Dudley are fighting over who did the best job, who can run circles around anybody. That's like a man thing, right? That testosterone going. But what does what money they made have to do with their child going missing? I don't understand why YouTubers and people come out here and they judge based on their money. Like, you don't know what they made. Jody Sue, I bet, doesn't even know what they made. Her and Candace, they state that they didn't hang out all together all like that. I mean, do you think Candace and Dawn were going around saying, hey, I make $2,000 a week, I make $500 a week? Like, that's the type of shit that doesn't need to be on YouTube, in my opinion.
me, that corroborated what she had said.
Live in a clean home for those children. I never went inside the house like that.
Oh, and that there would be no excuse to not have these bare necessities, these things that we should not deprive our kids of. Just hygiene alone, right? You should have a made bed for your children. You should have 3+ meals a day for your kids, for their development. Take them to regular doctor's appointments and dentist appointments, and allow.
But how do you know they didn't have those things? I hear a lot of people say like their kids looked abused and skinny and meek. I don't see that. As a matter of fact, I feel like Josie was overweight. Okay. For his age. I feel like the middle child looked like he should for his age. My granddaughter, who is now 7, is still tinier than Summer was. And that's by her nature. She goes to the doctors. She gets weighed. The doctors have no qualms with her weight. And I don't think it's for you to say, without being a doctor or anybody on here to say, what their health was. Now, we see the teeth. Sometimes that shit runs in the family. Candace's teeth are all fucked up too. My grandmother had bad teeth. My aunt has bad teeth. You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes that shit's just genetic. We don't know that. We're not doctors, and it's not up to us to assume that they didn't see doctors or didn't eat. Like people say, oh, they didn't eat, they didn't do this, it was frozen pizzas, this, that, and the other. But again, you don't know what money they made or what they can afford. Okay, we see they had habits, but their children were not starving, in my opinion. They looked like any other child I look at their age. That's just the way I see it. You guys can agree with me, not agree with me. I don't think them kids were starving by any means.
Allow them to form friendships and play sports, and all this stuff matters for when you're rearing a child. And I feel like that none of that mattered from everything we've ever heard about Dawn and Candace, that none of that mattered.
See, here's my thing, though, discovering children raising children, having children, being around children, raising my nephews, raising my siblings. I have a friend who passed away, and I had his children for a whole summer, watching them develop at the ages of like 3, 5. They're little. Like, when I'm fat now, you know what I mean? But when I was 5 years old, I was rather small for my age. It just depends on the build. I just don't think Summer was starving or deprived of food. I just don't. I look at her pictures, and I just don't see anywhere that she was deprived of food. Now, we hear Candace say that they did this, they did that, they went to Sonic, there was no food involved. Maybe it was a busy day. We don't know that when they come home they didn't eat, or before they left she didn't have breakfast. Just because you don't stop while you're out at a drive-through doesn't mean your child didn't eat at home. It just bothers me, some of the things people have said. Now, and I know it sounds like I'm sitting here supporting the Wells, and that's not what I'm doing. What I'm supporting is people not making shit up without having the evidence of it. You know what I mean? Like, there are images of Summer at the dentist proving that she went to the doctors. She has a little bag of goodies standing outside the dentist office after pictures of her in the dentist being seen. That tells me that Candace took them to the doctors. Yeah, I don't like the hair thing. If it was lice, they didn't have to be lazy. They could have just picked actually, they even have like places now where I've seen a commercial for it just recently, where you could take your kids to go get their hair picked out. Dude, your kids got lice, send them to me. I'll pick the hair out. I'll pick the eggs out, okay? Please, don't shave your daughter's hair. It's horrible. Something that did bother me was the other day we were listening to something, I forget what it was, and they had said that Dawn was pissed off that Candace put dye on Summer's hair. I really pray that Dawn didn't make them shave Summer's head because there was dye on her head. That's the shit that bothers me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I live in the city. We had a year, oh God, Bailey was 4th grade. Zach was kindergarten, I believe. And our school was on the news for having lice like run rampant through the school. I remember I went out, I bought all the tea tree oil, the coconut shampoo. My kids came home with the shit. Like, people with clean hair get lice. You know what I mean? But I took the time. I didn't even shave my boy's hair. Like, I took the time to pick it all out. Like, that's just what you got to do. You can't be lazy about it. However, it happens. And it doesn't mean that you're dirty. It doesn't mean that you're welcoming dirt. However, Dawn and Candace's house could have been cleaned. It's hard not to pass judgment when you see things like that. However, knowing that I have been through a situation where my children came home from school with lice, and it was even on the news that our school was running rampant and all kinds of shit. I took the time to be a mom and pick the shit out of their head. You don't shave their heads. But I'm going to tell you a story. My daughter, when she was 6 years old, my bathroom is right next to her bedroom. She snuck her daddy's hair clippers upstairs into her room. And I was turning on my bath water. And every time I turned the bath water on, I thought it was the pipes. I thought my pipes were breaking. This little brat was in her room turning on the hair clippers. And I'm like, what the hell's going on with my pipes? Well, the backboard to where the pipes are in my bathroom are in her room. Like, it's covered, but when a plumber has to go in and fix my tub, that's where they go. So I go into her room and she's sitting there with the clippers. And I'm like, what are you doing? I grab the clippers from her. She stands up hysterical in tears. She shaved a mohawk out of her head after shaving one of her Cabbage Patch Kids' heads. okay? And I had to shave her head. My daughter was bald once. Shit like that happens. Kids cut their hair. They do things like that. It was so embarrassing. I think it's hysterical today because she's going to be 19 years old. And when her and her boyfriend are here, I pull the videos up where she's singing how she's in love with Justin Bieber and she's bald as fuck. You know what I mean? But it was her own fault because she stole her dad's clippers at 6 years old, went in her room. I'm turning on the bathtub thinking my pipes are breaking. Every time I turn the water on, she's buzzing her damn head off. Sometimes shit like that happens. Yeah. I don't like it, but sometimes things like that do happen. You know what I mean? Oh, God. Thank God my kids have only had it once or twice. I think my daughter brought it home once. Yeah, it was bad backwoods. Like, I cannot believe, like, her dad was at work and I had to send him a picture. I was in tears because she had beautiful hair. I mean, she destroyed her curls. The curls never came back. Oh, it's raining there. We actually got a nice day. I was hoping to sit out on the porch with you guys, but obviously the mic on my laptop don't work. So I had to rush in here. I think that's pretty cool. I just found out today that you can switch from one to the other. Like, I was able to come back on here and still be on StreamYard. Thank God I didn't have to end my live. Okay, let's put this back on. I'm chatting too much. I'm just trying to explain, like, sometimes things happen. Shaved heads with little girls happen. Dirt happens. Bruises happen. It doesn't mean that the kids were abused. They could have been cleaner. I agree.
And that's why I feel little Summer, she never had a chance. She never had a chance. And that's what's really the most tragic part of all. But see, these boys, these sons of theirs, they have a second chance. And they could change, and become these incredible, not that they're not incredible now, but they could overcome these hard parts of their childhood that have so damaged them to the core and make great lives for themselves. But my concern is that Summer will never have that opportunity. And I hate to lose.
I went through that too, backwoods Bama. My daughter did that. A whole tub of Vaseline. It was awful. And she's black, so she already got that greasy hair. I couldn't get it out. I didn't want to send her to school. Kids do that shit. Yeah, it does. I do that with the baby. I put the rain. I do it for myself. The rain sounds. Yep. Very judgmental. The judgmental shit has to stop. We have to look at each other as humans. You know what I mean? Like, people live differently. You don't know what somebody's life was like. Maybe that's just me. I try not to be as judgmental. Now, if I see somebody like Krama, I'm going to judge because she's a bitch. But anyways, okay.
Lose hope. But it's been 6 months and nothing yet. We're going to finish this up here in just a second. I can hear my family coming home. It's going to get loud.
I never got out of the vehicle. Neither did my husband that day,
Smart.
Like, I don't want to get people, but that's one woman I wouldn't want to mess with.
No, me neither. She's a bulldog. She is meaner than a snake. Yeah, they can be very evil people. That's why it doesn't surprise me if possibly they were involved in the sister's disappearance. That doesn't surprise me.
Why do I have to keep pausing? She keeps saying stupid shit. Have you met them personally, sweetie Pilo? Who are you to say they're evil? Psychics are more evil than somebody who goes to church every week. Just my opinion. That's the shit that bothers me. when it comes to missing children's cases. Who the fuck are you to say that these people are evil? You stating that is evil. Just my opinion.
Everybody.
Yeah, that's what I said too. That's what I told her. I said they are evil. I said, I see so much evil in her. I see no good in her.
Oh, yeah.
They're evil.
When the TBI, I assume they thoroughly interviewed you, right, Ray?
Yes, they did. I'm sorry, the TBI interviewed him.
I'm sure.
Yeah, he talked to Washington County and the TBI.
Okay.
Washington County. I was only with him when we talked to Washington County because I was at work whenever, they came around and talked to him. And
Yeah.
I talked to all of them. City, Weber City.
Yeah.
Big police.
Wow. Did you get the impression they're not believing his story also, Ray? Did you get the impression that law enforcement is?
You know what, Nana? I've never wanted to personally reach out to Candace because I've never been the channel that wants them to come up on my panel. I don't want to put them in a situation where they're being judged like that. However, I've spoken to Dawn a few times via text message, but I've never come out and said, oh, this is what Dawn said. And I never want to be the person that makes somebody hate them. I don't know if that makes sense. I hope one day Summer's found, or there are answers for Summer, and I hope one day I can meet them. And I hope one day that they get to be proven innocent and I can hug them. I've said it a million times. Do I agree with their parenting? No, but I don't agree with nobody's parenting. I don't even agree with my parenting. Nobody's perfect. You know what I'm saying? But I have seen. Okay, wait. This is where the confusion gets caused in Summer's case. You see these people play games online, right? Now, we don't know if they do that just because they've been fucked with so hard online when they came here looking for their child, or if that's really the type of people they are. I mean, you guys that have met them, like Nana and stuff, you would know that. But I've said it a million times. When I look at Candace and I see her holding the kittens, and I see her petting the dogs, and I see her standing by the pond, whatever it is, lake, at the horse pond, with Chris McDonough, and pointing out, I don't see the evil that people see in Candace. I see hurt. I see pain. I see a hard life. Do I like things Candace has done in her past, like holding a gun to a CPS person? No. Do I like that her children have been taken? No. But I also was a young mother once, and I gave my baby to his father's family. I did that because I knew I was incapable of raising that child at that time properly. You know what I mean? I did it out of love. Not because I didn't love my child. I'm still in contact with my child. I talk to him. But I also know people that have had to give their children away because of circumstances they were in, and they did it because they loved their child. You know what I mean? It's hard to sit here. Like I said, I try to look at things unbiasedly. I've lived a pretty strange life, rough life, so I can look at things and I can understand why some things may happen, but I can also look at things and not understand why some things have happened, and it causes confusion. But it doesn't help when you get YouTube creators out here saying things like, oh, they're evil people and they're this. I don't think they're evil. Man, I really got to back myself up when I say I really hate, and I don't like the word hate. I hate when Dawn uses the N-word. I wish he would better himself and learn and grow from that. Deep down, I don't believe Dawn's really racist. I feel like he's not educated, if that makes sense. I get a more bad vibe from Dawn than I do Candace. That's my opinion. But the way she loves on her animals, I just can't see her purposely hurting her child. Or even not calling in an accident if there's an accident. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. Yeah. Well, I was raised racist too. It's crazy. My dad married a black woman and had a black baby and then told me if I ever date a black guy, he'd murder me. Yeah. Isn't that nuts? But I grew from it. You know what I mean? Like, you turn into an adult and you meet people and you form your own opinions. You don't have to follow what your family did. I really don't like the N-word. Dawn, I'm going to implore you to quit fucking using it. Okay? Other than that, I just don't see Candace harming her child. I could be wrong. I just don't see it.
Not believing there's
Not with the way she was loving on that kitten. And you damn it. And you still see her with her animals like that.
I mean, what's they gonna do though?
I know. If
They know where that kid is, and all they're doing is giving them enough time to hang themselves because they're gonna write themselves out.
I think so too.
Like he did with the damn writing on the walls. He said he swore I did all that, but then he admitted yesterday that he did it.
I heard that his last phone call with Andrea or whoever.
Yeah, Andra.
I was like, I said, honey, you gotta listen to this. He said, no, I don't want to hear. I said, no, I want you to hear this for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, he is once again blaming you, saying that you need to be investigated, blah, blah, this and that. And I was like, and I said, this man knows you were nowhere around. You know, he was no longer working with you from the day before.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's like he has it's like a personal thing between Dawn and Ray.
Right.
Not really with my husband, but it's like with Dawn, it's like he has this personal like grudge or want to get out on him, you know?
Hey guys, I'm going to step away just for a minute. This is almost done. I'm going to let it play out. I won't be gone long. I need to call my son because my granddaughter was actually here in the car with him and she dropped her off. He dropped her off. She wants to go play with a friend, but I have to have parents' permission before I just let her go. So I'm going to step away just for a minute, but I'm going to let this finish playing.
Yeah. To me it sounds like he was jealous of your husband's work ethic. That's what I think. Because why is he trying to say so much mean stuff, right?
Yeah. And I even told my husband that, you know, because he's from Louisiana. I said, people out here don't work like how you are used to working. It's hourly pay. You got a lot of people that want to ride the clock. I said, if you want to work and bust your butt.
Discovering I'm going to scold you. I know that's what it says in a dictionary, but that's not where the meaning came from. And black people really hate when white people say shit like that. Just a little bit of education for you. My husband don't agree with that. I don't give a fuck what it says in the dictionary. That's not what it was meant to be said for. And if you know history, you know that. It's okay. I'll forgive you, but that's not an excuse for the N-word.
And get the job done, because you know that once the job is done, you get paid and you move on to the next project, you know?
Yes. Yes.
And I said, you know, so a lot of people out of here do feel intimidated by that.
Uh-huh.
I know.
Yeah. It makes
You know, I
them
said
look
it's
bad.
not
Yeah.
you. I said it's just that, you know, they're looking at it as their job security. They need to push you out the door so they can continue to lag and do whatever, you know.
I actually have a friend who has a similar effect on people. She and I went to culinary school together in Hawaii, and she was such like the best worker, so diligent, not only with her studies, but then with anything we had to do in our kitchens. It was like she was always the first to do it. She just was a shining star. We were the only two females in the whole class, so so we were destined to be friends because we were all that we actually had. But where this relates is I think that when you outshine somebody, there's a jealousy that can take root. And in this particular case,
you know what nobody talks about when it comes to building a content creator business? That if you're not using a tool like HoneyBook to stay organized and
I think it's possible, and I could be totally wrong. I think it's possible that maybe from the get-go, Don thought that he was being outshined by him. If it's true that he really does work very hard and that they did start going through, 2-3 houses a week versus like 1 or 2 a month, then there was a jealousy aspect there because it was making Don look bad. So in the end,
Don was his own boss. He was contracted out by Tucker. Yeah, they were his bosses. But Dudley couldn't make Don look bad because of the timeliness of work. In my opinion, when you take your time, you do a better job. Rushing through a job isn't going to get the job done correctly. So I have to disagree. Just saying.
the part that I haven't told you yet, I don't think, it's hard to remember back, but I want to tell you kind of the timeline of Dudley and how it all happened for him with this investigation and stuff. So on June 15th, Summer comes up missing. It was the day before that he was fired. So I guess late, Tuesday night, early into Wednesday morning, Don told law enforcement that Dudley was the person to blame, the perpetrator. So
Don told law enforcement what law enforcement probably asked him. Do you have enemies? Did you piss anybody off? Yeah, I fired Dudley yesterday. He may have motive. I owed him money. He's demanding money from me. And that's probably why they went to Dudley's house. That would be normal in any crime, especially in a missing child's case. It would have been negligent for Dawn not to mention Dudley.
Law enforcement went over to Dudley's father's house because his father is a senior, he is a junior, and that was another bone he had to pick over that situation, was because Don knew that Dudley's dad lived in Churchill, and Don knew that Dudley Jr., who was the person he was blaming, actually lived in Virginia. And so Don sent law enforcement to his dad's house in Churchill. So his dad ends up.
And I don't mean it, you're, sir. That's just a Pittsburgh thing. Yes, sir. Okay.
I guess answering the door, or whether it was a phone call, I can't remember. And the next day, he gets a call. Dudley gets a call from his dad saying, like, "Hey, son, are you okay? Are you in some sort of trouble?" And he didn't know what was going on. But from there, he was passed the phone number he was passed over the phone number to that specific, I think it was Hawkins County, or maybe it was TBI. It could have been TBI. And then Dudley ended up speaking to that law enforcement agency. From there, he ended up in that interview process is when he found out that Summer was missing. That would have probably been on Wednesday, I think.
So he's far enough in the area that an Amber Alert would go off or an endangered alert would go off on a phone, right? I find that hard to believe that that's how he found out Summer went missing.
Yeah, she came up missing on Tuesday night. So it would have been on Wednesday that he found out, because first they had the wrong guy. They got his, they contacted his dad instead. Anyway, long story short, from there, Don screwed him over with money. He was supposed to pay him $1,800. And I think it was Thursday or Friday when Don and Dudley met up over at Dudley's house. Dudley actually had his neighbor filming this just in case Don was going to get fresh with him. I don't believe that part ended up happening. Like there wasn't a major squabble or anything that happened, but kitty cat. Hello, Chloe. So now I'm all derailed. Okay. So from there, $1,800 was what he was owed. Don did not pay him that. He only paid him $300. Dudley was really upset about that. And he felt that actually the reason Don was pointing the finger at him was so that he could short him. Don could short Dudley out of the money that he owed him. And
that really bothers me, because this guy's child's missing. You state you have 2 kids, your wife has 2 kids. If your children were missing, would you be worried about money, Dudley? Like, it's the day after you have the feds at your house looking for this child and you're still complaining about money? Fuck your money. Blow it up your ass. I hope Dawn never fucking pays you. My opinion.
And if he ends up going to jail for Summer's disappearance, then even better yet, he wouldn't have to pay him the money he owes him. So Dudley's done with him. He's very upset. He feels slighted. His name, of course, like I said, has been dragged through the mud. It's unfair what's happened. And again, I disclose this. There are 2 sides to every story. This is the story I was told. I'm basing my opinion.
I've heard Dawn and Candace accuse. Well, I haven't heard Candace really accuse people, but I've heard Dawn accuse people. But listen, man, if my kid was missing, everybody would be guilty. I'd be accusing everybody. I'd be knocking down fucking doors. At least I think I would. You know what I mean? And when you have enemies and you just fired somebody or you owe somebody money or anything of that nature, I just think it's like it really would have been negligent for Dawn and Candace not to tell the police who all their enemies were. Now, do I feel they told them everybody? No. But I do feel that they've given some names. And I feel like that's why they always have people around them and the PIs are always there. Maybe why they have Tim there. Although, in my opinion, speculating, to me, Tim Mullen is more suspicious to me than anybody. Like, the shit he's doing and the games he's playing and the things we hear about him. But I just feel like that's why they have the abundance of people around them to protect them. Just an assumption. Doesn't mean it's true. But the fact that their PIs have stayed with them this whole time, even after the games, tells you something, right? And that's something I forgot I wanted to go over. We need to go back and look at the PIs and their prior cases and their news interviews and things of that, because I want you guys to see what I seen about them prior to them being on Summer's case. Is there a channel called Porch Talk? Could you drop the link? No. Remain calm. I tried. When I first came live, I had my laptop. I don't think it has a microphone on it. It has a camera. My daughter-in-law actually gave it to my husband the other day. And I was trying to sit outside and talk from my porch, but it didn't work. So no channel called Porch Talk, and we're not sitting on the porch. I'll change the title later. We're here. I had to come in. Tim is enough to make everyone wonder. His story is BS. Yeah. I think the PI's in him. I think they need to get Tim the fuck away from them because he doesn't make them look good. You know what I mean? The games he's played and the weird shit he doesn't make the Wills look good. I'll say that, but this is pretty much the end of this live here, so I'm not even going to play it no more. And yeah, I remain calm. No channel called Porch Talk. I was just trying to talk from my porch. It didn't work. My laptop wasn't working. All right. So the only other thing I want to say this morning, because I'm going to come live again tonight, probably, maybe. I don't know. I got up really early. I may fall asleep. I'm not making promises, but it's a possibility I'll be live tonight. No, yeah, I didn't mean to confuse you. The only thing I want to say, I touched on it a little bit earlier, is prayer garden, you're sick. If you have evidence of parts of Summer being in a box that Fred has, that needs to go to TBI, not to YouTube. The fact that you're even putting that out there just made me totally never want to look at your channel again. It's gross. It's not right. And if it were true, it wouldn't be for YouTube consumption. Those are the types of things I personally would never, ever put on YouTube. I think it's gross. And I think you now need to get your ass the fuck off of YouTube. Okay? It's not right. And when you're going to put shit out like that, you don't need to be covering missing children's cases. There's something fucking wrong with your head. Yeah, she needs to be stopped. It's too much. Boycott her. Don't fucking watch her shit no more. That was too much. And it's gross. Now, look, I've let her pictures on Facebook slide. I've let the shit she says slide. The game she's playing with Ernie right now, I ain't said too much about. But yesterday, that's too much. It's gone too far. All right, guys. But I'm going to jump off of here. I'm going to go on with my day. I'm actually dressed up. It's nice. I just heard my granddaughter come back in, which means her friend wasn't allowed to play. So maybe I'll take her and the dog to the park for a little bit, make lunch, wake the husband up. Oh, yeah, I'm getting picked up at 2 to go to the dispensary because I'm out of weed. So I have to go get me some fucking weed. And that's that. I'm furious PG put that horrible story out. Well, it's not the first time, Nana. That's the thing. She does shit like that all the time. You know what I mean? Some of it you can let slide and go, okay, it's entertainment. That's just her way of getting views. But yesterday, that was too much. That's like the time Benny was on the phone with them people who had said they seen Summer murdered. Do you remember that? I'm going to have to look for that. But that's like kind of on the same grounds of that. Those are things I'm not okay with. Yin's got dispensaries. Yes, we got dispensaries. Only place I get my tree. Makes it clean. You know it's safe. You can get your own, like, for me, I don't like it too high in THC, but I don't like it low in THC. I know that I'm getting a hybrid and not, what is it, an indica? I don't want to go to fuck to sleep when I smoke, but I like my eyes chinky. You know? Up. Can you make corn dogs? Could Morgan not play?
Yeah, he's at his brother's house.
Oh. Do you want to take Jasper and go to the park with me in a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Your brothers have made a YouTube appearance and you were mad at me. Do you want to show them you and say hello to my subs? Okay. Come here. She just got a new haircut. It's so cute. So we're going to show you my granddaughter's haircut. Go ahead. Say hello.
Hi.
Say hi.
Hi.
This is my baby. All right. All right. Go in the other room because I'm live, okay?
How am I going to make the mini corn dogs?
I'll come in and help you make corn dogs. I'm getting off just in a minute, okay? I love you. All right, guys. Oh, everybody's saying hi, Mari. Oh, thank you, Glenview. She loves it too. We were scared it's her first haircut. She's never had a haircut until just the other day, and she loves it. She's so happy. I was worried she wasn't going to like it. All right, guys, but I'm going to go spend some time with the granddaughter, make her some corn dogs, and go to the park. I think that sounds like a plan today. Hopefully, I'll be on again later tonight. Aw, thank you, Discovering. They do grow up too fast. I can't believe she's already as old as she is. Like, it feels like feels like my own kids were born yesterday, you know? Crazy how fast life goes. All right, guys, peace and love. I'll be back tonight at some point. Aw, I know you just said you had the baby. All right, I am going to try to come back on tonight. I don't know what I'm going to cover yet. Maybe we'll just come on and talk. Maybe I can get my laptop working and go outside. That's really what I wanted to do today, was sit in the sun. Don't you love that? I woke up today and my son was coming in from Canada. He took a bus. He showed up at my house. I didn't know he was coming. Well, I knew he was coming, but I didn't know what time. We thought he would be here late last night, but it was a whole disaster. He come storming in my door like he was Kramer from Jerry Seinfeld. He fell coming down the back steps, dropped his suitcase, dropped his phone. It was a disaster. My dog got loose. We had to go chase the damn dog because he left the door open. So I'm sure my neighbors were real happy with me today at 5:30 this morning. Aw, thank you for being here, Discovering. And all of you guys. All right, but I'm going to jump off. I'll see you guys later today. I'm going to go enjoy the sun. And go to the dispensary. All right. See you later. Bye.